There's something in the Bahrain air tonight, and I'm not just talking about the sand. Our brightest minds have thrust their brightest ideas into the spotlight of the Sakhir circuit this evening as we look ahead once more to a Grand Prix that has thrilled us so consistently in the past. We go racing today around 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit, with 15 corners and 2 good passing opportunities into turns 1 and 4. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left tyre into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Hunt lines up on pole position, and P2 goes to Daniel Ricciardo, a strong showing from the Australian. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Bottas, Max Verstappen and Raikkonen, Hamilton, Alonso, Hülkenberg and Kevin Magnussen, Ocon, Ericsson, Charles Leclerc and Gasly, Stroll, Hartley, Sergei Sirotkin and Stoffel van Dorn. Sainz, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Roman Grosjean starts from the back of the grid. And with
Okay. That's a race win and your second race win in a row. Fantastic job.
Brilliant stuff from Force India today. What a superb victory. Anthony, what do you think made the difference here?
Well, I think the track conditions just really suited their car today. Wind, track temperature, you name it. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature. So the more easily you can keep them there, the better your race tends to go. And that's exactly what happened. Their car just looks so comfortable out there.
And now it's time to wind down and celebrate after that fantastic Grand Prix. Here they come, your top three, out onto the podium. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Hunt increases their championship lead. Now then, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
Probably Carlos Sainz. You know, strong pace, good work with the strategy, just a very complete drive, I think.
On to the constructors then. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. Meanwhile, Ferrari have improved their position. A strong weekend from them as they fight their way towards the top. After all that excitement, it's time for a lie down, I think. Thanks for joining us, and goodbye until the next race.